From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. We start with breaking news out of Washington, D.C. The House of Representatives now have a new Speaker of the House. Representative Mike Johnson was elected about an hour ago. Johnson is from Louisiana. He was endorsed by former President Trump and was one of the lawmakers who voted to overturn the 2020 election. He was elected to Speaker more than 3 weeks after Representative Kevin McCarthy was ousted and after 3 other congressmen failed to get enough votes to secure that seat. And while the House was voting, President Biden was speaking about the ongoing war in Israel. The president said Israel has a right to respond to the attack on October 7th.
We will ensure Israel has what it needs to defend itself against these terrorists. That's a guarantee. We also have to remember that Hamas does not represent, let me say it again, Hamas does not represent the vast majority of the Palestinian people on the Gaza Strip or anywhere else.
And the president did say Israel needs to operate within the laws of war and protect innocent civilians. Live look at Berkeley, where students at UC Berkeley will be walking out of class in about an hour for a pro-Palestinian rally that will happen in a half hour. The students are calling for a ceasefire in the region. They're also demanding UC Berkeley divest from weapons manufacturers. This is part of a national student walkout. Our Katie Nielsen is there. We'll have much more coming up at 5. Tensions were high in Richmond last night after a 5-hour meeting. The city council passed a resolution condemning Israel for their response to the October 7th attack by Hamas, saying the country was taking part in racial cleansing. Sean Chitnis has the vote and the controversial reaction.
The focus of this resolution was supposed to be the Palestinian people from Gaza, but some felt that it was a missed opportunity to address the issue and the wider conflict by including all innocent lives. Now, the City Council was able to hear from many people who were in the room last night, as well as many more who were able to sound off virtually. All of those opinions coming in pushed this vote into the early hours of the morning. The council ultimately voted 5-1 in favor of the resolution. The one council member who voted against said that while he supports a free Palestine, he felt that they needed to bring both the Palestinian and Israeli communities together in this resolution. Even before the meeting and the vote, some debated whether a community like Richmond should take on an issue like this and if there aren't more pressing matters for the city council. But local leaders argued taxpayer dollars are involved in this conflict, so there's a need to speak out.
I'm proud to live in a city that stands up and says no more, not in our name, the violence must stop. The United States government must call for a ceasefire and use its influence with Israel and the international community to negotiate an end to the killing, the safe return of the hostages, and an end to the apartheid regime imposed by Israel on the Palestinian people.
Today I'm ashamed of my city, and I'm afraid, and I'm scared, and you have put me in this situation. And I'm calling you to immediately reject this inflammatory resolution. This resolution is hypocritical, and the double standard that you wish to judge Israel by is irresponsible, immoral, and the reason anti-Semitism is rising in this country.
Now, there were amendments that were added to the original resolution. They tried to address some of those concerns by talking about the Israeli hostages as well as the death toll on both sides. Still, that was not enough for those against the resolution, including that one council member. Those that supported it, as well as other members of the council, say the focus was always meant to be primarily on the Palestinians.
Well, now to the latest on the ground in Gaza. This is video of an airstrike in the region earlier today. The United Nations says a third of Gaza's hospitals have stopped functioning either because they're damaged or because of a lack of fuel to the power generators. 8 trucks carrying humanitarian aid did make it into Gaza yesterday from Egypt, bringing water, food, and medicine, but no fuel. And without it, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees says it will be forced to stop work tonight. And the parents of a Berkeley native who was kidnapped from a music festival in Israel have a new insight into what happened to him that day. The video was found by Anderson Cooper, who looked closely at a clip and realized he had video of Hirsch Goldberg Pullen being led into a truck by Hamas after his arm was blown off.
Who in the world could have imagined 15 days ago any parent saying, "Thank God our child was captured by Hamas with an arm blown off, taken into Gaza, and that's good news." But we've taken some solace in that's good news. So everywhere, we've been looking for optimism.
Still, though, Hirsch's parents say they wake up every morning not knowing if their 23-year-old son is still alive. And we're keeping tabs on the latest out of the Middle East, and we'll bring you any major updates. You can find live updates on KPIX.com and on the free CBS News app. Governor Gavin Newsom is in Beijing today. He spent some time with President Xi Jinping to talk about climate change and other issues. The two sat down earlier this morning as part of Newsom's week-long trip in China. The governor's office says they spoke about economic development, human rights and concerns, and more. The governor will then meet with other high-ranking officials as he continues his trip. Now to other stories we're following around the Bay Area. Let's take a live look outside at downtown San Francisco. Beautiful shot there. First Elite meteorologist Jessica Birch has the details on a cool down.
We have a cold front moving its way in as we head into this afternoon, allowing for daytime highs today to only sit in the 60s from San Jose all the way off into our East Bay this afternoon. Antioch sitting at 69 degrees this afternoon, low 60s along the coast near Half Moon Bay, stretching all the way up into San Francisco. Today is a lot cooler, and we also have a splash of showers in the forecast for us as we head into the evening hours tonight, all the way into the Santa Clara Valley, all the way up into the North Bay. Let's actually talk about that a little bit more. As this cold front moves its way in from the north, it doesn't have that much moisture with it, but there's enough to where we could see about 1/100 of an inch of rain sweeping its way in from offshore. Now, this is that system as it moves its way in into the afternoon and overnight hours. Notice how it loses its energy. We'll see mostly offshore showers, a light speckle here or there into the overnight hours, and then we clear up fast into our Thursday forecast. But as we tally those numbers up and see how much we could potentially get, here we go. About 1/100 of an inch of rain just around 6 o'clock up in the North Bay. We'll continue to watch that track to the south into the overnight hours, and then we're left with dry conditions, like I said, waking up tomorrow morning.
Well, today, Nemom Manyi, the man accused of killing tech executive Bob Lee in San Francisco back in April, was back in court today. And today, his mom spoke publicly for the very first time. She said she was grateful to see her son. Manyi's lawyers are working to get electronic devices, including a phone, released. He will be back in court at the end of the month to set a trial date. And a woman died in an early morning crash in San Jose. It shut down part of Blossom Hill Road and Winfield Boulevard. 2 cars were involved. One of the drivers was pronounced dead at a local hospital. This is San Jose's 42nd fatal collision of the year. And Sonoma County is the latest Bay Area community to ban the sale of flavored tobacco products and e-cigarettes. The Board of Supervisors say they made the decision in light of a new study that shows 46% of 11th graders in the county have used an e-cigarette at least once, and saying 76% saying it's fairly easy for them to get them. The ban only applies to unincorporated areas of Sonoma County.